Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
Ladies and gentlemen, whoa, you look bigger, you look more from here than from down at the table. Thank you for being here. I am going to share with you how I was, what I did, and how I am today with regard to public speaking, communications, and leadership. So I'm a professionally trained stage and film actor, and I loved it. And I was so comfortable doing it because I was delivering someone else's script under someone else's direction, and it wasn't really me. I didn't have to be me. I did it really well, and as I say, I really enjoyed it too. Well, time moves on, life changes, and I had to get a real job as an advertising executive. And I nearly lost my mind because now I was writing and presenting material to sell my company as me. Me. I was the daughter of a small town hotel owner, slinging hash in the cafe and beer in the bar. And then I married a homesteader, and I was picking roots and rocks and fixing old machinery. And then I was a single mom with 2 rebellious teens, lots of talking, no presentations. Oh my goodness, I've lost my notes. I could be in big trouble here. And you should never do this. I touched this button. Who has a Mac computer that would, that you know just drives you crazy, right? So this is something that you learn when you're learning speaking, right? How you can cover up that I just blew it. And it's okay, because in the real world, we blow things all the time. So there I was, an advertising executive, meeting CEOs of major corporations, high-ranking government officials, and I had to be me. So it was really tough, I tell you. The driest deserts in the world had nothing on the dryness in my mouth when I was trying to deal with these big, important people. My tongue felt like the soft brush part of blackboard brushes. It was such a struggle. And there were times where my heart pounded so loudly and raced so hard, I was sure that each one of you could hear that thump, 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 because I really was terrified. So the worst thing that happened was my hands were so wet with perspiration that the very first CEO of a big corporation that I met, he put his hand out to shake mine, and there was so much perspiration in my hand it slipped right out. How embarrassing is that? Who else has perspiration on their hands like that? It was like such a disaster. So many times when I was in these groups that I'd slip away in my mind to some dark, cool place, just wishing I was somewhere else, anywhere else. But I tell you what, I'd snap out of it and recognize that I'm a fighter, right? I wasn't about to let my fear of public speaking destroy this budding career that I had just started. After all, I'd put myself through college with 2 teenagers under my wing, and I landed this great job. I'm not going to give it up now. But oh, I needed help. I needed to learn how to make my butterflies in my gut fly in formation. I needed to find somebody who could tell me, why is it important to have good body language and to really know what the tone of my voice means and how I could manage it. So how could I move from writing creative prose and poetry to writing pitch, presentation to large corporations so that I could win an account for my advertising agency? Wow, I tell you, it was a real uphill battle. So now I'm working on it. I looked at my circle of friends and, oh my goodness, they're all church people and actors. Nobody there that could help me. Oh, please, I cried, can't somebody help? I had to speak to small groups in intimate settings. I had to address large groups in auditoriums. I spoke with local business people and with senior executives from multi-million-dollar corporations. I really needed something that would help me believe in myself. Ladies and gentlemen, one day it all changed when a business associate took me by the arm one day and said, "Come with me." And he took me to a group of people who met every Monday for lunch in the tower where I worked. I tell you, I was terrified. We went into that meeting and I sat down and they asked me to stand up and introduce myself. I was frozen in my chair. I was frozen, paralyzed, and I finally dragged myself up to a standing position and I looked at the moderator and I held her gaze very, very firmly and said, "My name is Dawne and I'm too scared to talk." What a winner, I tell you. In an instant, I knew I was in the right place because I heard the warmest, most encouraging voice say, "Welcome, Dawne. You've come to the right place." The thoughtful and caring people in that room gave me the reassurance I needed to join, become active, and learn all that I needed to learn in order to become an accomplished speaker. As I entered the world of Toastmasters, I came to cherish the skills that I was learning. The art of putting a really good speech together that made sense, one that would sell a product or a service or get a good idea across. I learned that. Learning to think quickly on my feet was just so valuable when we did something called table topics. Now, table topics is where the table topics master introduces a subject new to everyone who was in the room and then asks questions and look at someone and asks you to respond to it. So learning to speak on the fly at the drop of a dime, answer that question coherently and in a meaningful way, that has proven to be one of the most beneficial things in so many settings for me these following years. At a Toastmasters meeting, you will have an opportunity in a supportive environment to improve your public speaking, presentation, and leadership skills. And it's at a friendly environment because we're all there for the same reason, to learn. So we're all there cheering each other on and supporting each other. At a Toastmasters meeting, you follow the program at your own pace. You're not called upon to give any more speeches or do anything more than you're comfortable doing. The other thing that is really beneficial is very thoughtful evaluations. Everything that happens at a Toastmasters meeting is evaluated, constructive criticism, so it really helps you build on your strengths and learn the areas that you really need to be polishing up and learning a little bit more. It's a supportive environment and it's self-run. You can join a club. There are several clubs. You can join a club that meets every week or every other week or once a month or however it fits into your time. Ladies and gentlemen, joining a Toastmasters Club is probably the best thing that I've ever done in my life. Now, if I asked how many of you have been asked to maybe give a eulogy, speak at somebody's wedding, propose a toast, and you're too afraid to do it. Anybody here? How many, right? Come join Toastmasters. There are so many times where people freeze, and even sitting in a room like this where you might have something that you want to contribute or a question you want to ask, and you just are too hesitant to stand up and ask. This is a wonderful, wonderful organization. It helps you get those butterflies flying in formation and overcome everything. So we're starting a new club in Pattaya, and we're having a demonstration meeting on Saturday, this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the LA Diner, which is a new diner that has just opened, and we've got Toastmasters, people coming from the district office in Bangkok, as well as Toastmasters from the Pattaya Lions Toastmasters Club. So they're going to run a demonstration meeting for us. And I'm inviting anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about Toastmasters to come and sit in on a little demo meeting. And then if you decide that you're going to join the club, we'll have forms there for you to join. We won't actually be starting the club until August because I'm taking a little holiday and I'm going to be away for June and July. So we'll start the club actively in August. And so I just invite you, come out and sample some of the great coffee and the treats at LA Diner and listen to how a Toastmasters meeting is run. It's lots of fun and very beneficial for anyone. So now, are there any questions? It's just off of Pattaya Road. As a matter of fact, I think I put the address on there, right? Yeah, so LA Diner on Google Maps. It's right next to it's a hotel that starts with A, and I can never remember the name because I'm Canadian and I haven't learned Thai yet. Azaria Hotel. If you take a picture of that, or Google Maps is LA Diner.
Say it was on Saturday?
Saturday, May 4th at 1 p.m.
Okay, I send out a meeting program announcement to our subscribers, newsletter subscribers that are in Thailand, and I have a copy of that available to me, and I will see that it's included.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? No questions? Oh, come on.
Well, I do have a comment.
I've practiced answers.
I do have a comment. Scott actually said, and it's very interesting. We get musos in here, and they're used to getting up and singing and performing in front of hundreds of people. They come here and they've got to do some talking about their lives or whatever. They get nervous, right? Because they're just not used to speaking in public. So that's an amazing thing to realise that people like Scott, they seem so hugely confident, they're nervous about speaking in public, right? I've given a eulogy. Who else? Anybody else here given a eulogy? I've given a couple of eulogies, yeah. So that's quite a responsibility. It always helps if you can, anything you can get more confident about, that spills over into other aspects of your life. And really, nothing is more important than being able to communicate well with other people. Literally, your life depends on it. People who have good relationships, live longer, right? People who are engaged. So this will be a support in how to engage people. I'll be there, so hope to see some of you there. Any other questions or comments or anything? Sure.
So I belong to an organisation and you want to ask a question, you put your hand up, and that's okay. However, some people butt in and just speak out loud. They seem to get more questions than the one who puts the hand up. Why is that?
Depends on the culture that you come from. Now, I am renowned for butting in because I grew up in a very large family. It's the only way I could get my voice heard was by butting in. But in a lot of organizations today, the rules are set ahead of time. And at Toastmasters, we learn how to follow the rules. So there is a protocol, and you learn all of the correct form of running and conducting and participating in a meeting. Now, I blew it. We had a Zoom meeting the other night. Now, I know that the Lions Pattaya Toastmasters Club has been on Zoom since the pandemic started. So they're still meeting on Zoom, and it was my very first formal Zoom meeting. I Zoom with my grandkids and great-grandkids. But a meeting, let me tell you, I butted in all the time. Because I didn't know until probably 2/3 of the way through the meeting when the moderator said, I see a hand waving, we'll let so-and-so speak. And I went, oh, good grief, all I've been doing is just speaking when I needed to have a question answered. So it's a good question, really depends on where you are and what the directions have been. That's it?
I think that's it. I want to vouch for how good a speaker this talker this woman is. Gus, can you turn up? Can you stand up, please? Yeah. Now, this guy, she picked him up in the lift. That's how good a speaker she is. Just to know, how many floors did it take you to convince him to come with you? 2 floors, all right. So there you go. That's how good a talker.
And you know what? It's not a matter of picking up. It's a matter of being friendly and being comfortable that you can engage people. Like the elevators are the worst place in the world. Like everybody gets in and turns around and they mind their own business. And I like meeting people and greeting people. And he just seemed really friendly. And, he opened the door to communicate, and the rest is history. Meet Gus. He's from Alabama, and he's here on business.
Oh, hi. Anyway, we have a small token of your small talk, and she's good at small talk.